would be a stretch to say that I'm a huge fan of Pop-Tarts. My favorite is strawberry unfrosted. I love them. And I get so sad when I go to the store. They have all the frosted varieties, but not the unfrosted.
Let's talk 3 ways to satisfy your Pop-Tarts craving when the store doesn't have your favorite flavor. Option 1, try a different brand. They don't have Pop-Tarts,
but they did have the organic version. So I said, I guess I can try it. And to be fair, it was good, but it wasn't a Pop-Tart. It almost tasted too healthy. Why don't we just try to make our own? How hard could it be?
Option 2, make it at home with a pie crust dough. We'll use cake flour, granulated sugar, salt, butter, and ice water. Cube 284 grams of butter, chill in freezer for 10 minutes. Sift 313 grams of flour. We're going to use our Ninja blender today to make the dough. Add flour to the blender. Add 4 teaspoons of sugar, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. Then we're going to pulse a few times to mix that in together. Then we're going to add our chilled butter cubes and pulse a few times until we get to pea-sized granules. Then we're going to add 1/3 cup and 1 tablespoon of ice cold water and pulse until the dough comes together in a nice ball. Looks so nice. We're ready to go. We're going to use a 1/8 inch rolling pin to roll out our dough. So you see me here changing that out to get the right depth. Then we're going to roll out our silicone mat, which we'll use to place the dough on. We're going to spread a bit of flour on the silicone mat to make sure that our dough doesn't stick. And then we're going to take that dough and flatten it into a nice flat disc and shape it really well. Then we'll use our rolling pin to roll it out to that 1/8 inch of thickness, as I mentioned before. Look at that dough spread so nicely. Once we're done, we'll fold it up and then wrap it with some saran wrap and make sure to chill that in the refrigerator for 2 hours. Okay, let's make some homemade strawberry jam filling for the Pop-Tart. Let's start with 2 pounds of fresh strawberries that we're going to cut into smaller pieces. I like to cut them into quarters so we have this nice, delicious bowl of yumminess. We're going to add a 1/4 cup of sugar to the strawberries and let that sit for 30 minutes to macerate, which just means the strawberries release their liquids. After that time has passed, we're going to add juice of lemon and add 1 teaspoon of lemon juice to the strawberries. Then we're going to zest that lemon and add another teaspoon of lemon zest to the strawberries and stir that around and give it a good mix. To make the jam, add the strawberries to a saucepan and cook on medium heat while stirring continuously. As you're stirring, you'll start to see the strawberries releasing lots of their liquids and the liquids coming to a boil. At some point, once it's boiling, you'll see less and less of the solid strawberries as they're cooking down, and you'll want to reduce this mixture about 75%. And for these strawberries, it took about 40 minutes to get it to the jam consistency that I was looking for. You can use this technique for almost any berries, whether you're making blueberry jam, cherry jam, anything you like, you can cook it down in this way. Look how thick that jam is. Make an ice bath and chill your jam quickly by pouring it into the bowl and stirring continuously while it cools off. Then you can wrap it with saran wrap and place it in the refrigerator for about 2 hours to cool even further. Now we make the template for our Pop-Tart pastry. Of course, we're going to use an actual Pop-Tart to make our template. So here we go. Let's take it out of the package and look at the shape. And then waste not, want not, let's use the actual cardboard container for the template. So we're going to measure all around to make sure we have the right size and then cut that out with our scissors. We want to leave about a 1/4 inch on all sides of the template to account for shrinkage. The second template is for the filling, and we're going to cut that out and then wrap both in saran wrap to keep it food safe. Here's the fun part. Let's assemble our pie crust Pop-Tart. Let's flour our surface so our dough won't stick and pull our dough out of the fridge where it's been chilling and roll it out super flat and thin where you can almost see the silicone mat underneath it. Using our template and bench scraper, we're going to cut out the Pop-Tart shapes out of the dough, and we're going to make several of these. And then using our second template, we're going to fill in the strawberry jam using our spreader so that we can evenly coat the Pop-Tarts with strawberry jam. For the top half of the Pop-Tarts, I'm using a chopstick to poke vent holes in them. I'll take 1 whole egg and scramble it up a bit to use as an egg wash, which we're going to coat all around the edges of the bottom of the Pop-Tart. And this will help the top layer of the Pop-Tart stick really well. Now we're going to add the top layer of the Pop-Tart very carefully to the bottom layer and using our fingers seal around the edges. Then follow up with a chopstick to make indents all around the filling. Then using our bench scraper, we're going to trim off the edges of the Pop-Tart to make it even. Time for the oven! Preheat oven to 350 degrees and bake Pop-Tarts for 20 to 25 minutes. These look pretty good, like a mini Pop-Tart pie with strawberry filling. Option 3, make it at home with shortbread, the best option.
To make our dough, we're going to follow more of a shortbread recipe because the Pop-Tart texture is more kind of like a cookie crumble versus an actual pie crust. So we're going to start with our cake flour, powdered sugar, salt, butter, 1 egg.
Add 113 grams powdered sugar to a half teaspoon of salt. Separately weigh 340 grams of flour. Add 227 grams of Kerrygold butter to your mixer and mix on medium speed 6 until butter is smooth. Add 1 whole egg to the smooth butter and mix slowly on speed 1 until egg is incorporated. Add the powdered sugar and salt mixture to the mix and stir on 1 until it is incorporated. Next, add the flour to the mixer and stir slowly on speed 1 until flour is incorporated. Hello, shortbread dough. Scoop the dough onto a floured surface, shape into a ball, and then split into 2 pieces. Shape each ball into a flattened disc, wrap in saran wrap, and refrigerate for 2 hours. After 2 hours, take out your dough, coat generously with flour, and then begin to roll it out to about 1/8 inch thickness. If it starts to get warm, pop it back in the fridge for about 10 minutes. This dough is a little harder to work with than the pie crust. Use the templates to cut out the top and bottom parts of the pastry. Add the delicious homemade strawberry jam using the template to the bottom layers of the pastry. Use a chopstick or dowel to poke vent holes into the top layer of the pastry. Refrigerate for 2 hours and then assemble the Pop-Tart. Once you've chilled the pastry dough for 2 hours or overnight, you can add the top layer carefully to the bottom layer of the pastry and then press down around the edges to seal it. Use a chopstick or dowel to seal around the edges of the filling, and now it's ready to go into the freezer for 20 minutes. Seriously, don't skip this step. Bake for 15 to 20 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. They are ready and they smell amazing. Just look at them, like a real Pop-Tart. Wow. Shortbread is the winner. Thanks for watching Our Vineyard Kitchen. I hope you try these recipes at home because good food should always taste like home.